A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John chapter 1 verses 35 to 42. Passage taken from the Message version of the Bible. The next day, John was back at his post with 2 disciples who were watching. He looked up, saw Jesus walking nearby and said, "Here he is, God's Passover lamb." The 2 disciples heard him and went after Jesus. Jesus looked over his shoulder and said to them, "What are you after?" They said, "Rabbi," which means teacher, "where are you staying?" He replied, "Come along and see for yourself." They came, saw where he was living, and ended up staying with him for the day. It was late afternoon when this happened. Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, was one of the 2 who heard John's witness and followed Jesus. The first thing he did after finding where Jesus lived was to find his own brother Simon, telling him, "We have found the Messiah," that is, Christ. He immediately led him to Jesus. Jesus took one look up and said, "You are John's son, Simon. From now on, your name is Cephas," or Peter, which means rock. The Gospel of the Lord. Reflections on the Gospel according to John chapter 1 verses 35 to 42. Today there is much talk about vocations, or rather of the lack of vocations to priesthood and religious life. Seminaries and novitiates of religious congregations, both male and female, seem to be almost empty. Are there no vocations like before? Are there no boys and girls who want to respond to God's call? Today's readings present us with Samuel, who is not able to recognize the Lord for himself. Nor are Andrew and the beloved disciple capable of their own of discovering Jesus as the Lamb of God. They needed guides or mediators who have had the experience. People who guided their steps along paths that they have traveled before and continue to travel. In a word, people with experience of God. Thus, Eli will teach Samuel the attitude of availability and the way to listen to the word that he is hearing. And John the Baptist will invite 2 of his disciples to leave his side so that they live together with the Lord at least for one day. It is necessary for us, therefore, to leave the comfort of the bed, or from my boat and my nets, or from my usual groups, from my customs and my usual prayers, to meet the Lord, where the Lord is, where He lives, where He goes, with whom He prefers to be. That's what those disciples of John did. "Master, where do you live?" The answer is clear. Come and see. There is no other way than to go with Him and experience for ourselves. To know Jesus up close is a personal experience that no one can do for us. Only when close to Him we will feel that our life changes and takes a new and definitive direction, because the gospel becomes the center of our lives. This is what is symbolized in the gospel by Simon's change of name. His new name, Cephas, Peter, is all about the mission he is given in the service of the gospel. May we listen to the voice of God, who calls us to live in the service of the kingdom that Jesus preached. The vocation to be priest, or to live in marriage, or to commit oneself in religious life will come as a consequence to our adherence to the voice of God. Have you ever heard God's voice calling you and inviting you to follow Him? Have you preferred to close your ears because you felt that listening to Him would demand too much of you? What do you think God is asking you to change in your life today?